Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Radha from IIT Bhaddal. Today we are going to talk on the module Organizational Change and Development from the paper Organizational Behavior. In this module, we will learn what is the organizational change, forces of change, levels of change, force field analysis, resistance to change. Then we'll learn about the organizational development, its concept, features, process, and various techniques of organizational development, also called interventions. What is organizational change? Change is inevitable. Change is a continuous phenomena. Change refers to any variation which occurs in overall work environment of an organization. It can be in the technology, it can be in the structure, working processes, work environment, organizational policy, or the roles that people play. Inducing change in one part of the organization forces change in the other. If the change is beneficial, people accept it willingly. If it's not desirable, there is a great resistance. If they consider the change detrimental to their growth and prosperities, employees may resist through counter pressure. The change, therefore, should be sufficiently strong enough to overcome the counter pressure. Due to advancement of technology and social environment, change has become a necessity. If the change takes place, a balance or a equilibrium is achieved by the organization. When people accept change, they learn adaptation. This process carries on and it's never ending because change takes place continuously. Now, organizational change can be defined as the process by which organizations move from their present state to the desired state to increase the effectiveness. Change has the characteristics like it is critical for the company. If a company wants to survive and avoid stagnation, change has to happen. It is a continuous process, not just an event. Change is fast and it is likely to increase further in the present competitive business scenario. Change has two terms associated with it: directive, which is implementation by the top down management, and participative, which means involvement of those parties of the organization which are impacted by the change. Change is a natural and evolutionary process and hence adaptive in nature. It is in response to changes in external environmental pressures. Change can be incremental, gradual, and small changes, or it can be step, radical shift from current processes to the newer ones. Change is dependent upon organizational culture and environment. Forces of change. An organization is an open system that is constantly interacting with external environment. Any change in the environment makes it essential for the organization to incorporate change in the internal systems, subsystems, and processes. There are two forces that induce change: external forces and internal forces. External forces are the changes in environment external to the company. Globalization, technology, governmental policies, legal implications, economic scenario, socio-cultural trends, workforce diversity, scarcity of resources, managing ethical behavior, etc. are major external forces demanding change. Internal forces, they include the change of the process, modification to human behavior, training and development of the workforce based on new technology and adopting new policies, job redesign, providing facilities like childcare, frequent rest periods, flexi time due to changing composition of the workforce, issues relating to the industrial relations, strikes, layoffs, etc. These forces are internal to the organization. What are the levels of change? Change can take place at three levels: individual, group, and organizational level. Individual level change. At this level, the change is reflected in job assignment, change of location of work, level of maturity, etc. Significant changes at individual levels have their repercussions on the group, which might influence the whole of the organization. Group level change. The changes at group level affect the workflow, job design, social organization, influence and status system, and communication pattern. Informal groups can pose a major barrier to the change because of inherent strength they possess. Formal groups can also resist change as groups have more powerful influence over individuals. Effective implementation of change at the group level can overcome the resistance to change at individual level. Organizational level changes. The change at the organizational level is referred as organizational development. These are long term changes, they affect everyone in the organization. These are designed at the top management level. These changes include reorganization of the organizational structure, responsibilities, revamping of remuneration system, changes in the vision, mission, and strategy of the organization. Force field analysis. Kurt Lewin developed the force field theory, which explains that when a decision to implement change is taken, it becomes important to identify as to what forces are likely to push the change and what forces are likely to restrain it. The process of identifying the number and strength of driving and restraining forces is called the force field analysis. If the analysis indicates that the restraining force is strong, steps may be required to reduce their strength or increase the strength of the driving forces. This may be carried out by briefing sessions, meetings, and conveying a point informally to the employees. This is an important action to overcome resistance to change which is exhibited by people. Now, let us discuss the change process. Kurt Lewin proposed a three-stage model of the change process, which helps moving the organization from its present position to the desired position. There are three steps involved, which are unfreezing, moving, and refreezing. Unfreezing is to undo the current situation. Moving involves bringing the desired change. Third one is refreezing, that involves stabilizing the desired change so that it continues to stay in the expected state. Unfreezing. This stage involves encouraging employees to discard old behavior by shaking the equilibrium state. A proactive problem is presented so that people recognize the need for change. Practice of elimination of rewards for the current practices is followed. This encourages people to adopt new ways. Second stage is moving. Alter the behavior of individuals of the department in which the changes are to occur. Moving the employees, developing new behaviors through structural changes or organizational development. Third step is refreezing. In this step, the changes become permanent. New behaviors are established as a new status quo. The new ways of operating are cemented and reinforced. Managers at this stage ensure that the organizational culture and reward system encourage new behaviors and stabilize these rather than falling back on old practices. This model can be extended further into 6 stages of the change process. These stages include 1. Becoming aware of the pressure of the change. 2. Recognizing the need for change. 3. Diagnosing the problems. 4th. Planning the change. 5th. Implementing the change. And finally, follow up on the change. Resistance to change. Change, no matter how beneficial, is generally resented and is always difficult to implement. Change brings with it new challenges, new experiences, and other associated rewards. Therefore, it should be welcomed and implemented with positivity and full support. However, there are factors which resist change. For example, job security is one of the factors. People fear losing their jobs due to change. This is especially true in the recent times when downsizing the organization as a measure of cost cutting is a trend. Introduction of modern technology and systems also give doubts in the minds of employees rather than the growth in productivity of the organization. Second such factor is lack of communication. Different people will see and perceive proposed change in different ways and resist it. Therefore, management must communicate in advance the need for change, process to adopt for implementation of change. Employees should be the participants right from the beginning of the change process. Third factor is rapidity and extent of change. If the change is of minor nature and involves routine operations, the resistance would be minimal. If, on the contrary, the change is major and involves large number of employees, there could be a tremendous resistance to it. Then there is group phenomena. Individuals resist change because group wants it that way. So importance of group cohesion, group norms, code of conduct, and the group security plays a major role in individual behavior that makes them to resist change. Emotions. If the experience of the past change has been pleasant, the resistance would be negligible. Technical change is accepted willingly if it doesn't have adverse effect on the social fiber of the group. Resistance may be faced if change ignores already established institutions in the group with particular reference to the customs and group norms. Loss of power is another major factor. Downsizing of the department or posting of an executive to different department where there is a reduction of the power base will be resisted by the affected individuals. Technology, introduction of technology that causes economic loss and disturbs social relationships is also resisted. New practices, certain practices like women domination at the top and strategy of acquisition and mergers, it's also resisted by many employees. Now, how to manage resistance to change? Individual involvement, right from the planning stage of the change, is essential to ensure total commitment. It should ultimately appear that the employees require the change and management is implementing it at their behalf. It's always better to explain to employees about the necessity and benefits of change and how these are to be shared by the employees. Free flow of information and two-way communication is necessary to avoid negative attitudes about change. There may be need for the counseling and training of people. It's important to make employees feel that they can discuss the modalities of change and clarify their doubts about it. It must be remembered that without full cooperation of workers, no change can be planned, implemented, and the benefits enjoyed. Organizational development. Organization development is a planned process of change in an organization's culture. This is done through utilization of behavioral science techniques. French and Bell define it in such a way. Organizational development is a long-term effort led and supported by top management to improve an organization's visioning, empowerment, learning and problem-solving processes through an ongoing collaborative management or organizational culture, with special emphasis on the culture of intact work teams and other configurations, utilizing the consultant facilitator role and the theory and technology of applied behavioral sciences, including action research. OD is needed to provide training to employees to adjust with the change being implemented. OD helps in making the organizational culture more responsive to dynamic environment and the changes taking place. OD also helps to stabilize the change. Now let us discuss what are the features of organizational development. First and foremost, organizational development is a planned change. Then it is a long term effort because it takes several years, even decades, to achieve a change. Sometimes this is done in stages. Organizational development must be initiated, led, and supported by the top management. Top management must encourage subordinates to introduce change leading to the development. OD is a visioning process involving creation of a picture of the desired future of the organization and then working together to make that picture a reality. Organization development has system orientation. It is concerned with various subsystems in the organization and their interaction with each other. It is always facilitated by an external change agent. OD is a learning process as it is interaction of individuals, teams and groups functioning within the parameter of various systems and organization processes with the aim of sharing knowledge and achieving growth. Organizational development is a problem solving process. It is a collaborative process because it stresses on collaboration among different hierarchical levels. An ideal culture is mandatory for organizational development to be successful. A common and enriching culture helps cope with the change. Organizational development is about team building and group processes. It is based on feedback and corrective action. Organizational development is flexible and pragmatic in approach. Now, what are the benefits of organizational development? Organizational development provides opportunities to people to act as human beings rather than mere resources in the organization. Each individual gets an opportunity to develop to his full potential. OD seeks to make organization more effective in meeting all its goals. Organizational development strives to create an environment in which exciting and challenging work opportunities exist. It provides employees a chance to influence work and work environment. And finally, it treats each human as a person with a complex set of needs. Organization development is based upon certain assumptions. Individuals are motivated by personal growth and development. The work habits of a person will change positively only if the work environment is changed to suit his or her needs. Second assumption is that highest productivity can be achieved by effective integration of individual goals with organizational goals. OD assumes that cooperation is more effective than conflict. Free expression of feelings is an important ingredient for commitment to work. The level of interpersonal trust, support, and cooperation should be as high as possible. There should be a sense of commitment among the employees in the organization. OD cannot be implemented in isolation. It must be reinforced by organization's human resource system. OD has certain values. For example, OD believes that an organization should move away from the view of human beings as essentially bad towards viewing them as basically good. It should move away from negative evaluation of individuals towards confirming that individuals as valuable human beings. It should move away from view of individuals as fixed being towards seeing them as being in process, that is becoming. It should move away from resisting individual differences towards accepting and utilizing them. It should move away from game playing towards authentic behavior. Organization should move away from distrusting people towards trusting them. It should move away from avoiding facing others with relevant data towards confronting them. It should move away from avoiding risk towards willingness to take risk. It should move away from primary emphasis on competition towards emphasis on cooperation. And organization should move away from utilizing an individual with reference to his job description towards viewing him as a whole person. OD also suffers from certain limitations. First and foremost limitation is that as organizational development is based on behavioral sciences concept, all limitations associated with behavioral sciences are passed on to organization development. Then OD requires the services of diligent and highly motivated individuals who can take initiatives to bring change. In the absence of such people, OD cannot be fully implemented. OD cannot be applied without giving due consideration to the circumstances existing within the organization. The local circumstances may pose a problem to OD. Characteristics of employees of the organization also put limitations on organization development. Process of organizational development. A typical OD program consists of 7 steps. The first step being diagnosis of the problem. Top management meets the consultant and discusses issues being faced by the organization. Collection of data. Consultant gathers data with the help of various tools like interviews, surveys, existing records, documents, etc. to find out the roots of the issues at different levels of the organization. Data feedback and confrontation. Findings of data gathered are shared by consultant with top management and other work groups. These findings are discussed, feedback is shared, and common issues of the concern are arrived at. Planning strategy for change. Consultant prepares rough draft of the change strategy and discusses it with top management. When all agree about it, a detailed draft is prepared by the consultant. Intervening the system. The detailed plan, which is prepared in the previous step, is gradually implemented. Various methods known as interventions are used by consultant to make change effective. Team building. Consultant facilitates the implementation of change by encouraging the formation of teams and small groups. Managers and their subordinates are motivated to work together as team to achieve the desired outcomes. Last is evaluation. For evaluation of OD program, the use of critique sessions, appraisal of change efforts, and comparison of pre and post-training behavioral pattern are quite effective methods. As OD is a long process, its evaluation is very significant in successful implementation of desired changes in the system. What are different techniques, also called interventions, of organizational development? There are 4 categories of organizational development interventions. First category is human process interventions. These interventions aim at improving interpersonal skills of employees so that they can intelligently solve interpersonal and intergroup problems. These interventions include T-group or sensitivity or lab training, process consultation, third-party intervention, team building, organization confrontation meeting, intergroup relations. Second category of interventions include technostructural interventions. Experts in OD are increasingly relying on the efforts to change the organizational structures, methods, and job designs. Technostructural interventions focus on the improvement of productivity and increasing the efficiency. These include formal structural change, differentiation and integration, cooperative union management projects, quality circles, total quality management, also known as TQM, and work design. Third category includes human resource management interventions. Now, HR practices such as hiring, training, performance appraisal can mold employee commitment, motivation, and productivity. Therefore, OT practitioners target the change areas like firm's appraisal system, reward system, and workforce diversity programs. The major interventions in this category are goal setting, performance appraisal, reward system, life and career planning and development, managing workforce diversity, and employee wellness. The fourth category of interventions are strategic interventions. These are meant for the organization as a whole. These are long-term interventions and they include major changes. Some of these are integrated strategic management, culture change, strategic change, and self-designing organizations. Let us discuss some of the interventions. First is T-group, also known as sensitivity training or lab training. This is the most widely used technique of OD interventions. This method is used to train teams with an ultimate objective of organizational development. Sensitivity training envisages formation of unstructured small groups. Members of the group interact with each other and learn from various situations. It involves use of various models like role-playing, learning, change, and transactional nature of human beings. Team building dynamics is a major part of T-group training. Sensitivity training also involves organizational topic like deadlines, study pertaining to the duties and responsibilities, policies, procedures, and other organizational group relationships. This method helps individuals to change attitude, understand human nature, modify behavior to suit a particular situation, and be a useful member of the team. Another intervention is process consultation. Now, process consultation requires the combination of skills in establishing relationships, knowing what kind of processes to look for in organizations, and intervening in ways to improve organizational processes. The essence of process consultation is that a skilled consultant, also known as facilitator, works with managers, groups, and individuals with the object of developing their process skills. It involves diagnosing, understanding, and solving process-related problems. An organization has various processes, having various sub-processes within it. The managers have to evolve a particular process and ensure that it is implemented by all the employees. For example, in a communication process, the manager must ensure free flow of vertical, horizontal, and diagonal information, and that no work should suffer for the want of required information. If the problems in this process persist, an outsider consultant is employed to examine the process and identify the problem areas. It involves ascertaining solutions to various issues in the organization. Certain processes which are taken for the consideration are organizational structure and organizational design modifications. Dynamics of interpersonal relationships can be considered. Then nature and scope of communication, issues relating to the leadership style which are followed by the different leaders at the different levels, group problem solving on organizational, social as well as domestic issues, decision making process, welfare measures, training and development, issues of production, quality control, then achieving overall organizational effectiveness. The process consultation sensitizes the individuals who are directly or indirectly involved in the processes. Trend is observed in the organizational system where individuals display their voluntary commitment to develop organizational processes and assist each other to resolve issues irrespective of their departmental boundary. The last intervention that we'll discuss is organizational mirroring. Organizational mirroring is an intervention to assess and improve organization's effectiveness by obtaining the feedback from those organizations with which it is interacting. When an organization experiences difficulties working with the other organizations, it can seek assistance from these organizations. This process involves certain steps. For example, representatives from outside organizations like suppliers, government organizations with whom the host organization may face the problem, they are invited for mirroring or reflect back their perception. Consultant generally interviews the people attending this meeting in advance of the scheduled meeting. Consultant in the interview identifies the magnitude of the problem the host organization is facing. Meeting continues in which groups and subgroups identify the problems faced by the host organization and then suggest the solutions to that. Host organizations should be genuine in wanting to resolve the problems it is facing with the other organizations, and then only the organization mirroring can be of some use. And finally, host organization should implement the action plan developed during the meeting. So students, let us now summarize what we have learnt in this module. Change refers to any variation which occurs in overall work environment of an organization. Inducing change in one part of an organization forces change in the other parts. If the change is beneficial, people accept it willingly. If it is not desirable, there is great resistance. Due to advancement of technology and social environment, change has become a necessity. If the change takes place, a balance or equilibrium is achieved by the organization. Organizational development is a planned process of change in an organization's culture through utilization of behavioral sciences technologies. OD is needed for number one, to provide training to employees to adjust with the change being implemented. 2. OD helps in making the organizational culture more responsive to the dynamic environment and changes taking place. This helps to stabilize the change. Thank you.